you're a wrestling fan of any kind, this is the podcast for you. My co-host Miggy and I talk about the independent scene. We talk about the main event of every PLE and pay-per-view and Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and AEW, and we talk about it all. We interview some of the rising stars of the SoCal wrestling scene. We are the official podcast of Dream Slam Wrestling, and we hope that you hit that subscribe button. And if you like what we're talking about, give us a thumbs up. Videos 3 times a week.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Fake Podcast. It's me, Miggy, back here with TJ, and we want to talk wrestling, but at the same time, we got some wrestling burnout, and quite frankly, buddy, I think 90% of it stems from just WWE. It's depressing us all.
And I think one of the most depressing parts about it is there's so much WWE content, and I'm interested in zero of it.
So,
I mean, am I going to watch John Cena's last match? Yeah,
absolutely.
But that's not because the WWE is doing so great right now that it's must see. It's because I've liked this kid since I was 6 years old or whatever.
Not because it's definitely not for the fact that it's a Saturday night's main event where the floor seats are $18,000.
But I was more like 9 years old, by the way. I made myself seem like one of those younger people. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. And it's just I saw, I don't know if this was accurate or not, but I saw a TikTok going around from someone that was at Raw, and there were some empty sections, bro.
Was it the one where they accidentally when they posted the picture of main event though, and they were like, "Oh, look how empty Raw is."
It looked like a
there
Raw,
was one like that.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was, because that's the only thing I've seen regarding it. But I remember, dude. I remember in the dark days of like Vince McMahon and the 2000, dude. Empty fucking. It was like AEW empty. A lot of times before AEW, started filling it back up.
I'll tell you, AEW last night they in Hollywood, Florida, were pretty packed and a pretty good crowd. I'll give them that.
No, I hope what I said about them filling it back up. Well, yeah. No, I think when they switched over to the smaller venues, not only were they able to fill it up, but they were it brought that like it felt very AEW like year one, where it was just this almost like cult like fan base and everyone was just so happy to be there. It was like a party.
Yeah.
But yeah, their pay-per-views have been in
amazing,
like regular size arenas. Everyone said that All Out totally crushed whatever the last WWE one was. See, I don't even remember what it was.
WrestlePalooza.
Yes. And then you got this invasion thing. I'm starting to think that invasion angles just don't work.
Well, they do if done. They do if done right. You needed a slow burn. We did not need to have 2 weeks ago. It's only been 3 weeks. They showed up. The TNA guys showed up. No, it's been 2 weeks. The TNA guys showed up. Then NXT had their pay-per-view on last Saturday. They announced that Invasion was going to happen and that they were going to then have the wrestlers show up on the episode of NXT this week, which they did. They chose their teams, which the TNA team is led by an NXT person, and then 2 of the TNA women are products of NXT. So it's like NXT versus NXT 2.0 versus TNA. And then you have what's it called? And then we have it on next Tuesday. So we have 2 weeks of build for this. Imagine if the whole invasion of WCW only was 2 weeks.
And the advantage that this storyline has as opposed to the WCW one and ECW one, uh, they actually have the names that represent the companies the best.
That's
Like
true. Well,
Sting and Goldberg and Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were not a part of the Invasion angle. Yeah, you had Booker T, who the last episode of Nitro was the champion. But who else? I can't even remember. So
there's
that's one
just
thing this story has over it. But yeah, it needs to be a slower burn. And I don't. I'm starting to think because you said they have to be like the invasion angles will work if they're done correctly. But I can't think of one that has been done correctly.
well out. I've only seen the good ones within WWE when it was Raw versus SmackDown.
Oh
Those are the
yeah,
only ones I really enjoyed. But at the same time,
dude, that just makes me
TNA
want to
even
play those games.
right. WWE even unless we're wrong, right? And this is going to be a build out to the Survivor Series weekend where this is just the start, which that would be cool. But even when the two Survivor Series style matches where but the teams like I like the fact that Frankie Kazarian's on Team TNA. I like the fact that um Mike Santana's on Team TNA. Those make sense to me. You have Eric Young, TNA original, should be on that team. I don't know if I don't remember who the other two people are. That's how much tuned out I was. But I don't think one of them was Eric Young, and it should be Eric Young. And I also feel like Cardona. There was so much more room to do stuff with Cardona. Cardona's saving a WWE guy. So I mean, yeah, if we're gonna play up the fact that Cardona desperately wants to come back to WWE, I like that. But if not,
What if you
um,
have him like have some sort of heel turn at this big like match to settle the score here, and he has this big heel turn because he's probably like internet wise, he's probably the most popular wrestler in this whole thing, right?
well, Joe Hendry is up there too.
That's true. That's true.
But
Okay, so
Joe Hendry's an NXT superstar at this point.
right. So you have Matt Cardona who could is always ready, always about getting the money, have some sort of heel turn, cost his team the match, and that's how he moves over WWE and he moves over as a heel.
I like that. But
Some he has somebody in his back pocket or somebody paid him to do it or I don't know.
but if you look at the WWE for example, right? Hold on, I'm pulling up the roster just so I could have it for reference. But if you look at the WWE roster and list of personnel that are in WWE, just if you're going to do this right, for example, the invasion angle. What was one of the biggest twists and turns that took place in the invasion angle in the early 2000s?
Ooh, I'm just gonna say Steve Austin.
Oh, that's a good one too. The good point. But mine was for me, it was when the WWE guys all came out alongside people like the Dudleys, like RVD, and you had the ECW originals join hands with the WCW guys. Looking at the WWE roster alone in just outside of the NXT guys. Mr. TNA himself, AJ Styles, is on the main roster. Why he should have some part in this. LA Knight. LA Knight, former TNA World Champion as Eli Drake. Not part of this. Not even mentioned. Backstage wise, Robert Roode, arguably one of the best TNA wrestlers of all time. You have people like
Facts.
what's it called? Stephanie Vakura, I think, wrestled in TNA at one point, or at least a couple of matches. Um, I don't know, man. And then you have these guys like the Motor City Machine Guns were TNA's tag team.
Where are
So,
they?
yeah, well, that's a good point too. You had Dexter Loomis with Samuel Shaw, got his start in TNA. You have Road Dogg and Ron Killings also on the main roster. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano both wrestling in TNA at one point. Candice LeRae wrestling in TNA at one point. Former Knockouts Women Champion Chelsea Green wrestling in
How cool
TNA.
would it be to see DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns in this type of situation?
That would be amazing. The real NXT versus the real TNA. CM Punk had a good run in TNA. Ethan Page, former TNA Tag Team Champion, I think TNA World Champion. Sean
He was
Spears,
tag teaming with Josh Alexander's part of the
yeah,
North, right?
yeah.
Was that in
Wes
TNA or was
Lee,
that before TNA?
no, that was TNA. Um, so you have all of those people. Robert Stone, Robbie E. Um, man, you have all this potential to do this so differently, and not to mention one of the head people in WWE right now is arguably my favorite person to ever wrestle in TNA.
Abyss.
And you literally, yes, and you literally just um put him in a WWE game that's not making any money anymore. So why not bring Abyss back for one more match or at least just one spot? He could do a black hole slam.
Because Bruce Pritchard is still mad at him because that one match went over.
Yeah, it's just,
Can
there's a
I
lot of
say something about this invasion thing that I heard? I don't. Different outlets have reported it over the last week. They might even change the name of this thing, bro.
they did. It's Showdown. I know.
Oh, it's official?
Yeah.
Can I can I take us to a place that I have never taken us?
Yes, and then I have something that I want to say too. So,
Is yours quick?
no.
I don't want to do this. So I'm going to try to do this as friendly as possible. The WWE, I always thought did a really good job of keeping the politics and letting the
Not
politics of the
anymore.
day not be visible. I knew Linda McMahon worked in Trump's first administration, and I
Mm-hmm.
still watched because I'm not a canceler. Their history with Trump goes way back. I remember in one of the WrestleManias they had Bill Clinton there. It was like a fake Bill Clinton. They
They
had a
had a
fake
whole
Obama come out with big
yeah. They had Trump
ears.
versus Obama, didn't they? Or no, who they had? They had Obama versus was it John McCain in the match?
Maybe. Well, I don't think it was a match, but but they were definitely characters. There could have
Yeah.
been a match. That would be amazing. I need to go back one. So like there's been little bits, but they've never been visibly uh shit. They've never shown which way they go in their programming. Dude, you can't in this day and age with social media and stuff like that, them going to the White House, them changing the name because of something that has to do with Israel. It's just it's it's so hard for this to become an escape.
Yeah, and it's the same thing, and to argue that point and to be fair about it, it's the same thing in AEW, right? No matter which way that you swing, AEW also brings in aspects of politics too, and I just don't want politics in my professional wrestling.
No. And that's a really good point because AEW is very much uh different when it comes to WWE and what it seems to care to, you know, There are just certain things that you would see in AEW programming or something like what Brody King or Hangman Page has said that you wouldn't see that might cost someone their job if they said that in WWE, but if, they get invited to the White House, it's A-okay. And I'm not saying that that person might lose their job because of their views, but it's just like you can tell, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And we were talking about wrestling burnout, dude. The last 3 days, I have not turned on the TV. I have not
Well,
watched
you're not missing
YouTube.
anything.
No, I know. I can't. I'm just exhausted. And it's not even my own life that's exhausting me. It's the world around me.
You need to go to the movies, dude. You need to go see the Smashing Machine starring The Rock. You need to go see Good Boy starring
The
Indy.
Rock,
Actually, you don't.
who also ruined my life in the beginning of the year. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
but you need to go see Good Boy. It's a new horror movie, but I know you don't like horror movies, but you do like dogs.
I
You could
like
watch the
smart
new
horror
Mark
movies.
Wahlberg movie. That was pretty good. I watched that earlier. Um, Peacemaker. You could get into
I
Peacemaker
gotta get
because,
on
dude,
Peacemaker.
the reason I didn't jump on right away when you texted me, hey, here's the link, is because I was too busy torturing my dog trying to teach her how to be an eagle because Peacemaker has an eagle that take care of him, and that
See what
takes
you
care
got
of him,
there.
and I needed Miggy's mindset content. And then,
Speaking of
but
Mickey's
anyway,
mindset, your post about the houses that October built. Okay,
dude,
so I I don't dislike scary movies or horror movies. It's just I don't like all of them just because they're scary, and I feel like I like the killer, not the filler. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
there's just lots of filler, and I think my wife likes a lot of filler horror movies. But no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, not really. But
Hey, I will say this,
this good boy sounds
your wife is
interesting.
a Terrifier fan, and that's amazing.
See, I don't do the torture porn. That's where it stops for me. The
Oh, I just watched
goriest
what?
the goriest I like or the goriest I can go is probably like the first Saw movie.
Oh yeah, no, it's much gorier than that. But what were you saying about Good Boy, which is going to be I don't know, I'm actually watching it in about an hour and a half.
Oh hell yeah. No, I'm
An hour.
that
Yeah.
that looks like something that I would be interested to see because it's like it's such a interesting concept. Like the movie It Follows. I love that movie. And
That's the one that's the
that's
one where
because
they
it's
do if the monster falls around people that the last person that like
yeah.
had it that they did it with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And see, normally, like sex in a horror movie, it's just like, really? But that was
Yeah.
a smart play on it, and the monster in the movie was fucking creepy.
Yeah. And you
And
know what? At
so,
least they used it to the advantage because I just watched Bone Lake on Monday night. That's the movie that I switched up our schedule for.
is Enoch in
And
that one?
and they though it was good, they did really advertise it like for sex, and then they did have a lot of it in the movie where it just like it just didn't fit. It was just like thrown in there to be thrown in there. That's my only gripe that I have with the movie. The rest of the movie was pretty good, but at least yeah, it follows, at least uses it as a tool. um
Did
but
did
I don't
you
know,
ever
I'm
see
excited to see Good Boy.
did you ever see Houses of that October built the second one?
Yeah, and it's not as good, but I still like it. I actually
The
own it. I own that
oh,
movie.
okay. The dude, the concept is so killer. And the
Oh,
first movie, dude, it got me the first time I watched it, but then like the second time I was just like the
so
fear went away, I guess.
did you know that the first movie is actually a remake of the original movie, but with the same exact people? So the
What do
original
you mean
one
the
came out.
original movie?
So all five of those people that are in the houses that October built, right? Or the house is October built. I keep saying that October built, but it's house. The house is October built. Um, they are all independent filmmakers.
Oh.
And so they originally started the project in 2011 where they filmed it like super low budget, like super low budget, and did a very similar concept, very similar story. And then you have the 2014 one This is my understanding. I don't know. This is my understanding of it. I've never seen the 2011 version, only the 2014. But then the 2014 one is supposed to be like, this them redoing the story just a little better.
It's a good first watch, and I think any horror movie fan will appreciate it, or any
Oh,
like modern
it's a
day
good like
Halloween
temp
fan.
watch. I enjoy that film a lot. Yeah, actually, that reminds me, I gotta have Lexi watch Tron Legacy this weekend too because we have Tron next Thursday night.
Is that the second one?
It's the third Tron. Oh, it's
Legacy is the
Legacy.
third.
Legacy's the second one. Legacy's the second one.
Yeah, I saw the first one with Jeff Bridges, but I never saw the OG one with Jeff Bridges. I saw
Oh
the
yeah,
first
but
remake.
you saw Legacy, yeah. Dude, I watched Legacy in theaters. Not even exaggerating, 30 something times.
Really? So you're a big fan
Yeah,
of Tron?
I am. I really am. I watched it 30 something times in theater, especially because that's when I worked at the movie theater. So it's like, okay, I don't have to pay and I don't have anything to do. I'm just gonna go watch Tron again. And we had it in the movie. We had it in the movie theater for like 2 months in IMAX. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna go watch this. Um,
I've
but
never asked you, I don't think. What is your favorite movie?
it's a loaded question. It
What do
depends
you
on the
mean?
day. It depends on the day. I mean, I would argue, it depends. Like, it depends on the day. Like some days I'll say 500 Days of Summer. Some days I'll say The Shining. Some days I'll say The Eternals. Some days I'll say, I don't know. It just really like some days I'll say, what's it called?
Tron.
Sing Street. Some days I'll say Tron. Some days I'll say, yeah. It really just depends on the day. I don't think I could possibly narrow it down. I could probably narrow it down to a top 100
Which movie have you seen the most in your life?
movie I've seen the most in my life. Ooh. Well, like purposely went out of my way to go and watch it, not like just like watched it because it was on TV or
Well, I
somebody
mean,
else was watching it on.
you're still picking it, whether it was in the theaters, the on AMC on a Saturday afternoon, or you pop the DVD in.
Probably, I've probably seen Billy Madison or Tommy Boy more than any other movie. But I would argue, I would argue Attack of the Clones is up there. I would argue Eternals and Tron Legacy are up there. I would think that Scream is probably up there too.
God, Scream's such a good dude.
Um,
Lane's gonna be Ghostface for Halloween. I
that's
got his
awesome.
costume in the
Oh,
mail.
um, Seed of Chucky is probably up there.
Wow,
So,
a man of taste.
um, the Ready to Rumble is up there.
As I said, a man of taste.
Yeah, but speaking of taste, I have this idea. Back to the wrestling, I guess. Though I'm enjoying this conversation more than talking about wrestling because
I don't think
WWE
any.
even
I
what?
don't think anyone makes it this long in our videos. So you can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah. Um, WWE. Oh, Never Back Down is another one I probably watch. What's it called? I'm big into like the MMA movies. Oh, Rocky. I have a freaking Rocky tattoo. That's got to be up there also.
The first one or
Um,
number four?
there's not a bad Rocky movie. There's not.
Number five's kind of bad.
Nope. There is not a bad Rocky movie. Even Rocky Balboa is a good Rocky
Dude,
movie.
Rocky yeah, six. When he comes back and fights Mason the Line Dixon.
Yep.
That's that's I might like that one better than Rocky 4. And
Yeah.
Rocky 4 is pretty good to me.
I do think Rocky 3 is my favorite, but um WWE has the opportunity here with this whole TNA thing to really do something big, like I said, with all of those guys, and to really switch the gears of all of the stories that they have going on right now, especially revolving around John Cena and AJ Styles. And because think about it this way, yes, do people want John Cena to win Do people want John Cena to win the Intercontinental Championship so that he could be a Grand Slam champion? It doesn't matter if John Cena is a Grand Slam champion because John Cena is already booked and will always be booked as the greatest of all time. That name is going to stick regardless. He can come back at 70 years old and be like, "Oh my God, it's the greatest of all time." They never gave that to Stone Cold, who came back. They never gave that to Hulk Hogan. They never give that to The Rock. John Cena will always have that the greatest of all time name tag, even if he's not the greatest of all time. He doesn't need an Intercontinental Championship run. He doesn't even need to win the Intercontinental Championship and vacate it. Because you know what makes it more of a headline story? The championship that John Cena, people thought John Cena would never have. John Cena winning the TNA championship on the way out. And having AJ Styles. I am totally okay with John Cena's last run just being John Cena and AJ Styles, if that means that the champion, that it's all revolved around a war between. Because think about it this way: you could literally have the WWE guy representing WWE while the TNA guy represents TNA. You have both of them on your roster, and you have all of the tools to actually make this happen.
TNA will get the shaft again, just like we were talking about.
But at the same time, no matter what, TNA was always going to get the shaft in any of these deals. It would have got, even if they worked with New Japan, which they did, and they also got the shaft there. So no matter what, TNA was also always going to get that unless they were working with the NWA.
That would be like Hollywood Hogan in 1998 going over to WWF for a random ass in your house and doing the job for Steve Austin and then going back to Nitro.
No, not necessarily, because they already have AJ. They already have AJ Styles. It would be like, it would probably
what does that
be like,
do? What does that do for TNA besides just look like WWE is just toying with them?
It puts them on Netflix. It puts them on ESPN. It puts them on it puts them on Peacock. Look at it, like, you're doing this invasion angle, right? You're doing this invasion night on the CW network. Which is, CW is a big name, but it's not ESPN, it's not HBO, or it's not Peacock, it's not Netflix. It's on its way out. The CW is also on its way out.
I think
USA Network is on its way out.
I think we might be looking at, and you talked about it earlier in the episode, that this invasion angle stretches out more. I'm all for that, especially if it means that for like legit WWE is going to buy TNA.
Yeah, well, that's what's going to happen. But you look at
how
what's
cool
going
would it
on.
be if the invasion angle, like, involved in that angle was the actual purchase of the company?
Which would be amazing. There's the name. The name starts with a T, but it's not TNA. It's TKO. And it's like, and that's what they need to do. Because look at it this way: AEW, right, is on the verge of putting together, and I'm convinced after watching Dynamite this week and Andrade coming back and joining the Don Callis family, AEW is on the verge of putting together their best faction of all time when they combine the Death Riders with the Don Callis family, which is going to happen. And they're going to have their own version of the NWO, and people are going to be talking about that more than they will anything that WWE has going on, in my opinion.
But what would this new NWO even be doing? Like, who? I mean, the Don Callis family kind of reminds me of the Heenan family or Jimmy Hart. There's just every you forget how many people there are. So who is in this faction?
Um, Overall, like right now,
Yeah, like is it
You have Josh Alexander, you have Brian Cage, you have Andrade, you got Clone, you got Takeshita, you got Kyle Fletcher, you got you got the Lance Archer, you got somebody other big guy. You got yeah, and then Don Callis.
and then who's in the Death Riders?
You have Mox, Pac, Marina, um Wheeler, and I think that's it. Oh, Claudio.
Claudio.
Yeah. So there's
There's
14 people.
14 heels.
Yep.
Supposed to be heels.
But that's
Are there
every heel pretty much in AEW right now. Which
That's
is
true, 'cause
how the
then the Young Bucks
NWO
turn
was.
face.
Look at the NWO. How many members were the NWO at one time? You could have different versions. You could have, the
This is
international
probably
international Don Callis family, where it's Claudio, Clone, and Andrade.
this is actually starting to I think Tony Khan's probably not thinking NWO. I think he's thinking Bullet Club.
Which is even better. The Bullet listen, NWO is more iconic. The Bullet Club is, if I'm ranking the best stables in wrestling history, I put the Bullet Club before DX and the NWO.
I'm fine with DX because I think DX is below NWO. But why do you think Bullet Club is above NWO?
Because their story is not as messy.
Well, NWO did have a very messy story.
Yeah, their story is not as messy. They have, every member that left, there was reason behind it. Every member that joined had a build up behind it. It wasn't just like a shocking thing. Like, you understood why this person would go and join the Bullet Club. And not only that, the Bullet Club has spanned across every single professional wrestling promotion in the world today.
That's true.
The Bullet Club has an influence even on the independents. So I would argue the Four Horsemen than the Bullet Club.
All right. I'm not going to argue with you because the NWO was I think the reason I like the NWO so much, and yeah, I'm a WCW guy, and I'm in a Hulk Hogan t-shirt right now. That has nothing to do with it. I think to me it was, I don't know. It was just I always felt, and I was young enough when it was happening that I didn't know it until WCW had already like folded, and then it was like you're learning about the history of everything, that you didn't understand that you were seeing unfold before your eyes previously.
Yeah.
Anyways, I say all that to say that DX just feels like a copy of sorts, and DX was way more comedy driven, which is unique to the NWO, but I don't think it. I don't know.
yeah.
DX could have been anybody else. Like those characters, somebody else could have made them funny, I think.
Dude, that would be a good episode. Fantasy booking replacing wrestlers in factions.
Ooh, yeah. All right. We got a couple seconds left, so I think we'll leave it at that. What about you?
No, I love it, buddy.
All right. I'm going to think about that. And then if I come up with good answers, we'll do that.
But we didn't
If I
even
don't,
talk
we'll
about what
forget
we
it.
said we were going to talk about in this episode.
That's true.
So.
We were we were going to talk about who is not in the Hall of Fame but should be in the Hall of Fame. So we'll put that one on the shelf right there next to DX. And is China in the Hall of Fame?
Only as part of DX.
Well, that's a damn shame. And I hope the first year that TKO fully takes over and they fire Triple H, she goes in the next year. All right. Got anything else?
Follow us everywhere. HITF Pod.
So great. All right. Later.